If you're pouring yourself a drink tonight, I consider you basically one of my flight crew. So we are going to go ahead and I'm going to get my chat window open so I can interact with you guys. And then we're going to go ahead and take off. But I wanted to let you know that we are flying in a DA-40, Diamond Aircraft DA-40. And we're flying from Hamilton, Ontario to London, Ontario. And the reason I selected this particular airplane is because I used to make this airplane. That's right, I used to live and work in London, Ontario at Diamond Aircraft. And I'll talk about that in just a second here, but first I've got to go ahead and find my live stream right here so I can get the chat window open. And should only be a matter of a few minutes here, so, well, not a few minutes, a few seconds really. And I've got that up. So live chat, and we are good to hit the, not the road, hit the air. Well, I guess hit the tarmac, but actually I don't think that's something you want to say when you're flying an airplane. Anyway, you guys get the point. We are going to go, and I think we call this, we're going to fly VFR, which is because more or less I know how to get there. I've done the drive many, many times. Never done the flight though, but I think we can handle it pretty well. And let's see, let's take off in the cockpit. Normally most people that watch me know I take off, or like, you know, I fly from outside the plane, but why not? Let's go for the full experience and do this from inside the cockpit and hope for the best. So we got to get up to at least 60 knots before we rotate, and we're pretty much getting there. So we're going to go ahead and say V1, rotate, and lift off. And let's see if I can, it doesn't really make much of a difference. So looking out the side of the plane you get to see, but unfortunately like this we don't. So we're going to go ahead and get the hell out of that view. And we are going to go southwest. Today we will be following the Highway 403, and then we'll be hitting the 401. I'm just kind of cruising here out of the Hamilton airport, and if I head a little bit southwest here, we should find Highway 6, but it doesn't actually matter because I can just keep heading in this direction. So even if we didn't find Highway 6, then we'll just find the 401 anyway. So let's go ahead and get where we're going. I got the trim level set to 15%. It's one of those things in this game I don't always, I don't know a whole lot. I didn't do the tutorial stuff, so I believe that's going to be that Highway 6 I speak of underneath me. Oh, wrong button. Right there. And it's one of those back highways, pretty well a 2-lane highway. If we keep on cruising, we will get to that 401 at some point up there. And yeah, I used to, oh shit, I see another airplane there trying to launch an attack. Maybe I'm going a little bit too south because I think I see maybe the Grand River in the distance. So let's just go ahead and head a little more west. I should have just followed the road I actually know instead of just going across fields, but it's all good. We'll get where we're going. So I got my buddy Felix. Hopefully I sent him the message. I let him know that I'm going to be flying. He lives out in London. He's a good buddy of mine who used to be co-workers, but then he went and bounced out. He bitched out and moved down to London. And it's all good though. Actually, it was a good move for him and his family. They bought a house and he's doing his own career think pretty well working for himself. So I believe I found my Highway 403 up here. So once we hit the highway, we're going to follow that all the way down. And yeah, so I guess while we're flying here, I'll tell you, and then we're actually going to go to Diamond Aircraft where they make the airplane. But when I used to live down there, I got a job like doing body work. Basically, the airplanes are made of fiberglass, and so they get them out of the molds. And I was trying to check out this park over here. I've never seen that park before. So when they take them out of the molds, they have something called voids in the fiberglass. And my job used to be pretty simple job. It wasn't overly complicated, but anyway, I would use like a razor blade and pick out the voids. What the voids were was like the gel coat would kinda hide, but you could see little air bubbles in the fiberglass. So anywhere there's a little bubble, I would use a razor blade, pick the little bubble out, pick the void out, and then use Bondo body filler, and fill the holes. And then kind of once that dried, we'd sand it down. And once the body panel, like the wing, or if you see those white things that are on, I forget what they called those, but anyways, I'm sure it'll come to me later. But those things over the wheels, a lot of times I used to do those and other various little panels. And yeah, so that was my job. I was a body man. There were some times where the canopy in the front, or if I go to the side, see where the glass is on the front panel, it's actually like acrylic or whatever. It's got the fiberglass rim around it, so sometimes I would do on the canopy, and various other little odds and ends. This was quite a while ago. I guess it's probably 10 or somewhere between 10, 11, 12 years ago, whatever, somewhere in there. But yeah, it was a good job, and unfortunately I didn't stick around there, because if I had, I would have had a chance at getting a license, because they would have paid for part of it. Just wanted to see, oh yeah, traffic has come to a standstill down there on the London bound lanes. I actually drove down this highway today. I had to go to Brantford for some work for a few hours, which kind of sucked that the casino is not working proper, because every now and then I like to hit up the casino down there. But when I was done work I could have, but I guess I just didn't even bother. But so Highway 403, also along this stretch somewhere was a I guess it was maybe a little bit closer to London, was a like half a deer. A deer had been obviously smoked by whatever, and somebody moved it to like the side of the road off to like by the ditch, but you could clearly see half a deer there. Poor little bastard. Never even got to see Christmas. Also, out this way off my, I guess my right wing, out in Puslinch is where Justin Bieber has a place. In case you guys want to go land on his lake, you'd need the Icon A5, but he lives on like a little lake over there. I'm not going to out him and show, but I'll just tell you, and it doesn't matter, I guess, fuck it, whatever, you could Google it or go on Facebook or whatever, YouTube, and find out anyway. But ultimately, he's got a pad over there, so good for him. I do not. And even if I did, I'm pretty sure his would be a hell of a lot nicer than mine. Although I do play my lottery, so that's one of those cool things about the lottery. Here in Canada, we don't pay tax on lottery winnings. So like, say if the lottery is $50 million and you win, you actually get $50 million. Now, if you do investments, of course, you're going to pay interest on whatever, but interest on you're going to pay tax on your interest or whatever. But anyway, So, I'll tell you right now, doing this by air in this game is a hell of a lot faster than doing it in the real world, because look at this, we are already in Brantford. This is Brantford, Ontario. I don't really know a whole lot about Brantford other than to say like there's kind of, some nice areas and some not so nice areas, some kind of like scuzzy areas. We had a little freezing going on there. Hopefully I'm not having issues with my internet. Every now and then the game freezes up, or sometimes I just get shitty internet. We have probably just flying over it here, very close to here anyway, Amazon distribution center. So I guess out in Brantford, that's good. Makes for a place for a lot of people to work. This is Home Depot right here. I've been into that Home Depot many times. Though today I went to Lowe's, which is just right over there. It's kind of weird they got a Lowe's and a Home Depot like really close to each other, but anyway, not anything exciting really in Brantford that I know of, other than that they've got a casino out there. Other than that, it's just kind of meh. Not saying anything bad about it, I just don't know of anything exciting, except that they've got Fast Eddie's. Fast Eddie's is a cool little fast food restaurant that used to be all over the place. London may or may not still have theirs. I don't know, I think they had 2 of them or something. At least 1, but I think they had 2 down in London, but I'm not sure if they're still there. Then Brantford has 2. Hamilton used to have 2. What are you going to do though, right? Businesses come, businesses go, but they do have pretty good milkshakes actually. Grabbed milkshakes from there today. So, also Brantford is the home of Wayne Gretzky. The first exit I believe you see when you come into Brantford coming from like Toronto is Wayne Gretzky Parkway. And it's also the home of, I believe it's the home, it may not be the home, it may just be the first place it was, but of was that Theodore Grand Bell or whatever, Bell Telephone. So the birthplace of the telephone, and which is kind of cool. And now comes a kind of, I guess you would call it the farm basket portion of our journey. We're going to be coming out of town, and it's just going to be country for a little bit until we get to Woodstock, and then over kind of by Woodstock over there is also the home of Mr. Bieber, Stratford, Ontario. And then beyond that, like we are, but I don't think we're actually going to go to Stratford here, so we'll be going Woodstock, and then comes London. And there are a couple of YouTubers I watch out in London. Give a shout out to Redneck Rickham if you want to check him out on YouTube. If you're into like car videos, and lately he hasn't been posting a lot. He's been busy working and shit, but he's got a boat, and like it's a converted sailboat. He took this big sail off and he's kind of converted it, put a little engine on the back, and he just goes bombing around. Like he'll take like a week or 2 journey or whatever it is out on his boat through the Great Lakes and having a good time. Really nice guy. I've gone out and hung out with him several times. He brings his little drone along and flies that. So I encourage you, if you've never seen Redneck Rickham, check him out, and support a fellow Canadian content creator. Not to say that we should support only Canadian content creators, but you know what I mean. Who else we got? One Pug Life 1. He's out, not quite in London, but not far. He's kind of got a cool channel as well. A little bit more into like, I think custom fabrication and working on vehicles and riding dirt bikes around in his back side lot and various other fun shit. He talks kind of funny, but seems like a harmless guy. And then I know both of these guys through watching who unfortunately turned out was a pedo, David's Farm, who's in jail because he's a pervert, so he's right where he needs to be. And anyway, he had basically this big piece of property out in London or just outside of London, and he had like dirt bike trails and, you know, a big car shop and all that. So these guys used to hang out there, and that's how I found them. So back before the whole pervert situation happened, his videos were quite entertaining. But then also out that way, we've got Mark Freeman. I don't know, he seems okay. I watch some of it. I don't watch all his videos, but I watch some of them. Once again, he lives out in the country, and seems like a legit dude. He lives in like a big mansion with his parents. His dad actually was the creator of a company, I believe, is my understanding. I may be a little off on it, but his dad was creator of the telephone company London Telecom, and I believe it, you know, he made his millions and sold the company or something, and so his son Mark Freeman is like a competition dirt bike rider, snowmobiler, action junkie, whatever. Yeah, I've watched many of his videos. So when I used to live out here, I used to pass by his place all the time, and I actually stopped one time before I even knew he was on YouTube. If we get time, we'll see if I end up flying back out by my old place out there. I pulled off the side one day because I had to piss really bad, and I pissed under his bridge. And then one day I'm watching YouTube, and I randomly find him and realize where he lives, and I don't know, I don't think he ever responded, but I commented on his video and said, "Holy shit, I pissed under your bridge one time." Good evening, Light Realms. I see you there watching. It's going good. Obviously, you can see from the title, we are just flying down to London, Ontario, to say hi to my buddy Felix. And I don't mind London at all. I lived there for I don't know, a few years anyway. I got nothing against that city. You know what? I'm sitting here on an angle on my couch, and I do it a lot. And on my stick, I realize that I'm holding my stick on a slight angle instead of keeping the plane perfectly straight, and I bounce up and down a lot, so it is what it is. It's got a news update, so why don't we make this like a news airplane and see what the news update was. Joe Biden's brother Jim refuses to answer questions, and I'm not gonna click on the story to read it. I don't really care. I try not to get all that political and shit. I think everybody's got some good in them, and I think everybody's got some bad in them. I don't think there's a perfect answer that's going to make everybody happy, so it's one of those things that kind of gets annoying. Although, last night I was watching, just while we're on the topic, we got to kill some time, nothing to do with the flight, but I watched a Casey Neistat video, and I thought it was pretty tasteful. He called it like who I'm voting for or whatever, and he's voting for Biden. But he was good. He said that, you know, regardless of who he's voting for and who you're voting for or whatever, it doesn't mean that you guys have to hate each other. And a lot of times when it comes to politics, people, if somebody doesn't like the same person as you or is on the opposite side or whatever, all of a sudden, just because you found that out, you'll hate them. And I think that's a really silly way to live. I have many disagreements with people in life, and just because we disagree on something doesn't mean I have to hate you. You know, imagine if you said, I hate everybody that doesn't like the color orange. And so anyways, I thought his video was pretty good, because I think all too often now celebrities try putting their political views onto their followers or viewers or whatever you want to call it. And I don't know, I think that's a really stupid way for anybody to cast a vote, regardless of who it is for, is to go based on who your favorite celebrity likes. It's a crazy time in the world, and I guess it's very relevant because U.S. politics matter to the entire world. They have a worldwide reach, like, you know, who the president is of Indonesia. or prime minister, whatever it is, doesn't have like really a worldwide effect. You know, or the Canadian prime minister, same thing. It affects us. It might affect a little bit of trade here and there, but the U.S. politics actually affect the entire world. But anyway, this is now us, just because now we're through the farm, we can start discussing things again. So we are over the 403 right now, and we are joining up with the Highway 401. Right before this bridge on the 401 once, I did spin my van out, and like in fog, it was so thick you could barely see anything in front of you. That was crazy, but funny at the same time. And let's just get rid of that stupid warning. So this is Woodstock, Ontario, as you can see there for the airport. And I'll tell you a fun little story about up here. There is a commercial vehicle weigh-in scale along the highway where trucks have to stop and get scaled, and they, you know, the guy comes out and inspects your truck and shit. So back many years ago, me and my buddy decided to start a moving company. So I had sold my car. I had a little sports car. I sold my car, and I took the money and I bought a cube van, a big green cube van from Toronto. And the van was in pretty good condition, all legit, good to, you know, to drive and shit like that. So we didn't have it registered like commercially or anything like that, but we were out doing moves in it. So one day we got this chick that was moving from London to downtown Toronto, and so we got all our shit in the truck, and we're driving up here, and they turn on like these flashing lights when it's time for you to pull in. And so anyways, we're driving down the highway, all of a sudden the light starts flashing, and it means that we have to pull into the truck inspection station. But so like really quickly, we're looking at each other. My buddy's driving, and Mikey, I don't know if he watches my videos or not, but anyways, if he does, so up Mikey. And anyway, we look at each other and we realize like we can't stop. This truck is full of this chick's shit, and like if some, you know what I mean, you're not allowed to use like do commercial business in a privately registered truck without like, you know, whatever CVOR and all this shit. So anyway, how do you handle a situation like that? Well, I'm sure you guys already figured it out. You fucking gun it. He put it to the floor. We passed the inspection station. He took the next exit. We hung a right. Then we went flying because basically as we passed the station, I'm looking out the window, and there's the inspectors, which are basically cops, like they're commercial police more or less, and they're looking at us, and we're like, oh my god, they're going to chase us, because they have chase vehicles there, right? They've got like, you know, Suburbans and, you know, like police cars, right? And so anyways, yeah, we floored it back down like country roads off to the left there, zigzagging and like, you know, really trying to lose these guys. And we didn't pop back out. I think we took the back way all the way to Hamilton before getting off the or getting back onto the highway. And then the thing about it was that the lady that we were moving her shit, like, you know, she was kind of expecting us to get there at the same time with her, and then we had to make up like some excuse of why we were running so late. Anyway, she was super cool and nice and all that, and we got her shit there. And then basically, I'm pretty sure, I guess, moving past that, because we knew where the inspection stations were, we just didn't even risk driving on the highway near the inspection stations. And yeah, anyway, that's my little story about that. I've got a billion stories. I've had a life like most of you guys wouldn't even believe if I told you some of the stories of all the shit, all the hitchhiking across this country back and forth from Ontario to Vancouver, and yeah, a lot of stuff. Actually, broke out of jail in London once, on the run for a year as a teenager. Finally got caught and had to deal with that, but crazy times. So we are starting to come into London, Ontario now. And the only thing I've got to pay attention to is once we get up there, this is still not the actual London, but it's like they've changed the roads around since I used to live out here, so it might take me one or two wrong turns to find Airport Road, basically, is what I was looking for, which is how we will find Diamond Aircraft, but we'll probably see, because it's right behind the London airport, so it should be pretty easy to find. But when I say they changed some stuff around, they've gone and put like some roundabouts here and there, I think. And okay, we're still not quite there. I know like somewhere around here's a big truck station, or because I remember it'll be on the left hand side because I was sputtering out of gas one time. What do we got? Yeah, VinWiki. Yeah. Oh, I've done, from when I've like, I could tell you guys stories about when I had no license, no insurance. So what did I do? How do you drive like that when you have no license plates and nothing to put on your car? You go on eBay and you buy US plates and throw them on your car. That's how you deal with that. If you find IFR, I follow roads. Yeah, so I'm fine following the roads. That's just because I know how to get to London, Tony. So, yeah, like, yeah, I mean, now I'm all on the straight and narrow. I'm just a hard-working dude, you know, like family man, whatever. I don't fuck around with nothing. But back in the day, I was a crazy kid. And yeah, I'm glad I smartened up though. But at the same time, I'm glad I lived my experiences. Boy, did I see a lot of shit. Anyway, trying to think, this might have been my exit. I'm not sure if that was for when I lived out in the country. I used to live St. Mary's. We may do a quick flight over to St. Mary's, actually. It's a cool little town. I used to live on Cherry Hill Road. And that's out by that Mark Freeman's place there. Not going to really out his shit, although he does show it all over his YouTube anyway. He totally tells you where he lives. Yeah, let's just keep on cruising, and we should hit our, not much longer, I think, hit Airport Road, and we'll zip up to the right. And I'm just trying to figure out where exactly we are. It's kind of hard when you're out in the middle of nowhere. And then we should be able to see Flesh Gordon's, which was the strip club in London, but they shut it down, so no more Flesh Gordon's. I don't know what the hell you're supposed to do for fun in London now. And there was another one downtown, but I think that was really scuzzy, and that one closed down too, so. Actually, this I think might have been my exit 73 Elgin Road. I lived on Cherry Hill Road, but Cherry Hill Road starts as Elgin Road at the highway. That looks like it could have been exit. It goes way up into the country. So here we are coming into London now. That's the starts of the city, I believe, anyway. It's, once again though, it's been years, like, you know what I mean, it's been over 10 years since I lived out there, so the city sprawls out a lot further now than it used to back in the day. But let me see, that could also be Thorndale, actually. Maybe it is. I think that's what that is. I think that's just Thorndale. Yep, good old London. I'll tell you right now, the drive from like London to Windsor is incredibly freaking boring. It is just pure flatness and nothing to see. Yeah, it's not exactly an enjoyable drive. It's just so boring. Like, this is when you need a Tesla with autopilot. Which, by the way, we're going to have to test out autopilot in this game again soon. Like, I don't know how many of you guys saw my other videos, but anytime I've tried autopilot, the shit never works. Like, you end up with a pilot. Like, so I set my departure, I set my arrival, and, you know, you're supposed to be able to take off in the air and just be like, all right, well, the idea is supposed to be like, I got to take a piss, so I'm going to put on autopilot. You should be able to walk away and autopilot take you to your destination, but for whatever reason, like autopilot, oh, that's that truck stop I was running out of gas at right there. Yeah, like I've had them crash my plane, or they fly in completely the opposite direction. So I don't know, all I can say is that Microsoft Flight Simulator's autopilot can piss off. And I mean it in a nice way, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to be disrespectful, I'm just saying that I don't know how you're going to call it an autopilot or AI and it like completely just fuck up. Like it doesn't even like try to work. So anyway, I got to get a real airplane because this is pretty sick. Like, you know, if I wanted to drive from my house to London, you know, on the highway, I don't know, I mean, it's an hour and a half or so, and look at us, we're already there, and I don't know how long this video has been going, but probably 20 minutes or something like that. So I'm down for that. Also, seems like they got a lot of patchwork on this highway or something. I don't know what's going on. I'm looking at these lines. I'm wondering, oh, that looked like UFO markings there. So oops, sometimes I hit the wrong button. Sorry, guys. I've got like a little directional button on the joystick, which allows me to look around. So I want to see if this is Airport Road here. It could be. Let's go ahead and take this. I think this is going to be Airport Road. And there's a good chance that somebody watching this is going, no, you idiot, it's not. I'm not sure. We'll know if up here we see, I think we see like the 3M factory or something, or BASF or whatever it was. And then, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is it though. But, and, oh yeah, there's the London airport right over there. So what happens is, so this is it. We're going to follow up here, and I don't know exactly where, but my buddy Felix lives somewhere over here, and this is like the old mall over here. Anyways, so there's also a sports park thing over here. I think it was called East Park, if I remember correctly, and it had like some water slides and go-karts and shit. Haven't been there in years. Bunch of scrap yards out here. I used to love, back in the day, just the scrap yards out here. There was a couple that were really cool. I think Andy's was one of them or something. And you used to be able to just go, and they didn't give a shit if you bought anything. You just walk in for something to do. You know what I mean? Please don't crash. This stupid game, sometimes it freezes, and just like that it did. I was showing my sister some pictures here, so good thing I didn't have like gay porn on my screen. You legit, I'm gonna have to, I don't want to be on any of this. It's all stupid. These browsers piss me off. Close all tabs. Sorry guys. I've got to relaunch the game. I don't know why it does that. We'll get in there and we're going to take off out of London and we're going to resume. So count this as intermission. I do apologize. I can't really say why it does that. It just pisses me off that it does. And I guess I didn't click that. I thought I did. There we go. London's not a huge city, so it should fire up fairly quickly for loading, but yeah, I can't say if this is a computer issue or a game issue, although I'm leaning more towards the game out of the two, but my apologies, folks. I'm just going to take a sip of water while we're waiting for this to load up. running. What happened here? Oh. My mouse does not reach here. I don't get good signal, so sometimes it doesn't want to click, but alright. Let's take off. That's really unfortunate, running a live stream and a freaking game to crash. And then there's other times where I can play for hours and hours and hours, like I did, what, a 3.5 hour or 5 hour stream or something one day, and the game played through no problem, never crashed. So it's stupid. I kind of get annoyed with that they like keep pushing the Japan update. Like, I got too many places around me to still explore. I don't have time for that. So anyways, we're just gonna go ahead and click London. I don't know. Let's see, I want London. I'm gonna have to click search now, because whenever you back up. Okay. Search results, 28. What are these? Or is that all history? Recommended. No, I want search results. London. That's history. Recommended. I don't know. Why is it not? Like, it should just come up. You know what I mean? Worst case, there is. Oops, London. There's something we can do, which is okay. I don't know how the fuck I'm supposed to know which one's which. Alright. Hold on. Let me just get the London, Ontario. I'm just going to Google this quickly. London, Ontario. Airport code is YXU. There we go. That'll make things easier. If we just search up YXU, we should be able to hopefully get it a little quicker here. So YXU. There we go. Oh, CXYU or whatever. You what the hell? You know what I mean. All right. And not 9 o'clock p.m. Thank you very much, or we'll be flying around in the dark. Oops. And fly. Sorry guys, and hopefully most people will have known just to fast forward through that on a replay. Obviously on a live stream you gotta just kind of deal with whatever happens, but on a replay people will be able to just fast forward through all that bullshit and try to save 5 minutes of their lives or whatever that just took. And let's just hope it doesn't do it again. And like sometimes when I think that it's running shitty, I will go ahead and I'll do the game's stats, like, the computer stats up, but it never seems like I'm overworking the system. So, which is more likely why I blame the game. Just, I know other people have crashes, but hopefully they'll do an update and we'll move beyond that, because it is awesome. I'm really enjoying flying around, and it just crashed again. Damn it. Why? Probably a freaking update or something here. I didn't even think to look for updates, actions. What is this? full caps lock on. I don't care. Xbox app, NVIDIA settings. And this is the other thing that's annoying. Like sometimes when you click the game, like it doesn't even acknowledge that you've clicked the game. Now I forget what airport that was. So YXU. Asobo. How about assholebo? So it's almost like I want to turn my computer monitor up, or I wish it would give you like a crash report or something saying, hey, you know, this is what's going on, or this is what's going on, whatever the case would be. I've got my keyboard too far away. When I do that, I've got basically there's a little switch on it. I have to shut the switch off and back on. Piece of $50 Walmart shit. I've got, basically I'm just lazy. So this computer's set up in my living room. I don't have a camera or anything set up for it, or like to do that kind of live stream. But anyway, what happened was I had the computer and it was sitting over by the TV, kind of like by my fireplace and shit. And then I went out and I bought a 25-foot HDMI cord, which runs through the wall. Like there's a whole pipe thing in the wall that wires feed through. And so anyways, it was a pain in the ass, but managed to get the HDMI, because all the other wires are running through it too. And got that all set up, and then I went ahead and screwed that up. So YXR was it? No. Sorry, YXU. Yeah, YXU. Sorry. Then I got the, fuck off Cortana, nobody in life likes you. Nobody. Not even your own goddamn mother. I ended up, so I kind of pulled on the cord a bit when I was doing all that. And it bent like the end a bit. And then one day I was trying to move the tower, and I ripped the entire end of the HDMI cord off. And so I was like, fuck. And so now I've got it back plugged in over by my TV, but my couch is like, you know, whatever, 15 feet from the TV. So anyway, I know that was a long, boring story. Ultimately, what it means is that my keyboard is a little far from the receiver in my computer, and I have the replacement HDMI cord brand new sitting in the package. But I dread having to install it because you have to take the TV off the wall, and it's like a 70-inch TV. And then I have to get the old wire out of that pipe and then feed the new one through it, and then just a freaking nightmare. But if I get off my lazy ass and do it this weekend, then I can have the TV back over, or the computer over here, and I can get rid of this fucking piece of shit Walmart keyboard, which I'll probably try to take back and tell them that I just don't like it. And then I will buy an actual gaming keyboard and mouse. Okay. Holy shit, we're back in our airplane. Whew. Alright. So, London Airport, here we go. Click the parking brake off. Let's go. Why are we kind of veering off to the right there? So, Diamond Aircraft, you're coming home. So right behind here is the Diamond Aircraft factory. So let's get some speed and then lift this bitch up. V1, rotate. Yeah. Alright. So I gotta get my bearings for which way we're actually facing, and then I'll be able to find the Diamond Aircraft factory, but it like connects with the airport, so I believe it's just right over here. I think actually that might be it. over here. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I've never come at it from this perspective, obviously. So, yeah, let me spin back around, because then I'll be able to figure it out. Oh, actually, there it is right there. Oh, let's get, oops, flaps up. Yeah, so this is Diamond Aircraft right here. And so you might see it's not exactly perfect, but I'm sure this is it. I'm pretty sure the building doesn't look perfect though, but I guess that's to be expected. Not many of the games, or not many of the buildings in here are quite accurate anyway. So let's slow down the throttle. Yeah, like that's got to be it. Has to be. I just thought the building was longer and they had more skylights on the roof. But anyway, also over here, although it looks like there's maybe been construction by this, but there used to be Militex where they made APCs, which was pretty cool. And so when I used to work there, I used to drive down this road, and my apartment was just up the road here, which was kind of weird. So when I moved into my apartment over here, one apartment, I lived actually in a few apartments, so I'm going to tell you a funny story about one of them, because I like funny stories. For one, this guy at this corner house, it's like a little farm or whatever, he used to have something, I don't know, an old buddy of mine and I used to try to buy something off him. I think it was an Eagle Talon or a Chevy Tracker that he had behind the house, and the fucker just would not sell it. And we tried several times. He used to love buying and selling crappy cars, but anyway, yeah, so my old apartment was like right here. This is it. Not yet, not yet. Right here, this building I'm going to fly over. Right, one of those three anyway, ultimately. And so, let's go ahead and fly over here. So basically, this is all like student housing is kind of tucked in here, which they have a lot of issues with, but it's just funny. Yeah, like when I say funny, I mean like they have like street parties with like thousands and thousands of people and shit, because they got Western University here. So also, I used to live in an apartment up here and on Adelaide, which was a funny thing because I lived in the building for, like a year or whatever it was, and I didn't even know until like I was moving out that the damn building even, or like, well, several months anyway, that there was a pool at the building. I had no idea, and a hot tub and squash courts, and like when I rented it, I did like I took over a lease, and the chick that that I was taken over from, she just never even mentioned anything about that. So anyway, it was up Adelaide, up the road there. Anyway, and then I did some work in a building. I don't remember what, but ultimately I did some work in, I think, these buildings right here. If they were condemned at some point, yeah, we're gonna go check out downtown in a minute. I just want to fly by my old building. And also one time I did work. Basically, there's a lot of nice, beautiful new homes up here, kind of just at the top of the screen. One time this dude hired me to go and do a drywall job in a basement. And so he's a contractor. These buildings here is the one that's got the pool and the squash court and the hot tub, but jacuzzi tub, like a big one inside the one building. But anyways, when I moved out, that shit was broken. But Anyway, look, so we're going to look at the pool. So this first building that I'm flying over right now is one I lived in, and there was the pool hiding behind that building. Fuck, couldn't even believe I didn't know about that. But anyway, yeah, so homeboy hires me to come into this big mansion, and not a mansion, but these are really big houses, right? They're not like little shitbox houses wherever it was. Somewhere tucked in like over here further. And he wants me to drywall this basement anyway. So while I'm there working, basically I only meet the guy for 10 minutes, kind of leaves me on site, and I'm doing my thing. All of a sudden some dude shows up, and he said he was the old contractor that he walked off the job because the guy wouldn't pay him. It had been weeks and he hadn't received a penny or whatever. So later on in the day, homie shows up, and I said, oh yeah, your guy came here to get his tools, whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, he's a cokehead, I had to fire him, he was dealing coke in the driveway. I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, the guy's like, all right, I'm just give me a call if you run out of material or whatever. You got a few days work here ahead of you, because it's a big house and it's just me doing the drywall and ceilings, all the walls, had to do some framing. So a couple days go by, I basically use up everything I've got there. Got the place 90% complete, and the lady upstairs, it was an Asian lady, super nice. She would make me smoothies, this, that, and the other. So I'm calling the guy now, right? I've been calling him for a couple days, can't get a hold of this guy. And too small for the diamond factory. Yeah, I don't know, I think it's just represented like that, but is that the actual spot? Because it backed onto the airport. So anyway, homie will not return my calls at all, no matter what. So I'm thinking I'm getting fucked on this deal, right? So what it was, though, the house that he was doing this shit for was like the owner of the house was the realtor that was selling all these homes, or like, many of them, and they were doing like a promotion, like, you get like a $40,000 finished basement included or whatever with the purchase of the house. Normally they're unfinished, so it's for promotion. And this guy was trying to get the contract for that, and ultimately he I hadn't heard from him. So finally I just left him a voicemail, and I'm like, hey man, if I don't get my money, I'm going to go to her house tomorrow at 12 o'clock noon, and I'm going to tell her that you hired me off Kijiji, you didn't even know anything other than my first name, and you give me the alarm code for her house and shit. And, wouldn't you know, he calls me back in like 10 minutes and gave me this bullshit story about how he had to go to like the Bahamas on a family emergency, and sorry, and all this shit, and he'll have my money on Friday. Yeah, you like that? Because he knew he would lose the contract. Anyway, sometimes you got to do shit like that to, get what's yours, right? But ultimately, this is downtown London. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Downtown London, I haven't been there in a long time, but it's kind of a shithole. And, my buddy Felix messaged, okay, hurry up. He doesn't realize I'm on. Somebody found the Diamond aircraft, so I might have been off on that a little bit, but we'll probably fly back over there. I got to fly you over here, because I got to tell you a funny story about Baseline Road West. So, out on, when I was moving from that Adelaide building to like something cheaper, because it was a little pricey actually. It was like, I shouldn't have rented there in the first place. So anyways, wanted to rent something cheaper. So I come down over here to Baseline Road West, wherever it is. I think it's up here further. Maybe those buildings I'm looking at. And anyway, so it was me and my old buddy, we pull up, and there's this chick sitting on the porch, like, not the porch, like there's big steps that go up to the building, it's a couple of buildings together, and she's sitting on the porch there on the steps. And so I said to him, I'm like, I bet you if we move here I could bang her. And anyway, it was just, we just laughed, and he's like, yeah, right, whatever. And I thought she was alright, so I was like, I was DTF. And anyway, yeah, so right up here, you just follow this road, and then right at the corner. And so anyway, one thing leads to another. End up moving into the building, and I'll show you right here. So my son grew up with me, like he lives with me, and so he went to this school right over here. So this is where she was sitting on the porch, this middle building, and we had a pool and everything there. And then this was my son's school over here, where I registered him in school and kindergarten, whatever. One thing leads to another. Oh, don't you know her daughter's in the same fucking class? So we start, talking and shit on the way to school sometimes, whatever. And it was just so, like, such a vindication or whatever it was when I finally got to hit it, because I was like, told you, motherfucker. And you know what I mean? Because I won that bet. Anyway, turned out she was a goddamn psychopath. She has bipolar and freaking nuts. Like a complete Looney Tune. And, like, legit. Like, one time, I had said, like, oh, did you do something different with your hair? And she fucking, like, I swear to God, she was gonna fucking kill me, like, stab me with the fucking shit. And, like, so she had to take these pills, but, like, some days she would take them and she'd be sweet as pie. And next day she'd just decide that people were trying to control her and shit, so she wouldn't take her pill. And, like, and you could just see it in her eyes, like, what day it was, right? And, fuck, anyway, yeah, like, one of the last times I saw her, like, she was laying on the ground trying to kick in my door. She was a freaking nutcase. Anyway, I had to move out of there to get the fuck away from her. Nut job, Lindsay. Anyway, so we're gonna follow baseline. We're gonna head back out to the what you call it there, out towards Diamond Aircraft, and so let's go. It's a little bit southwest of the button of runway 33. So we're gonna fly back over there and we're gonna check it out. This is the hospital. I did some work on a house over right behind here. I laid laminate flooring, and that was really fucking bizarre. Like, basically it was a dude and his wife, and then like his stepchildren. But he kept like making all these weird, inappropriate comments to the fucking stepdaughter, who was like 12 or something. I didn't like that shit at all. I was very uncomfortable working there. Like, he was saying joking shit, but anyway, that guy's bizarre. He probably ended up in jail one day. Yeah, I've worked for some real fucktards over the days. You know what I mean? So let's just follow baseline, and it's been a while, so it takes me a minute to figure this out. But the jail I broke out of is over that way. That could be. Oh no, that was no, that was a secure place. That's not the one. I broke out of the open custody. It was at the top of the city out there, called a booth house, Salvation Army booth house, basically open custody jail. And that was a funny day. That's a story for another one. You guys don't want to hear about that anyway. So let's follow this. I'm just trying to get my bearings here. So I think we come around the bend. I think this is the road that East Park's on. I don't know why they put a house on the road there, but I don't know. Maybe it fell off the truck. Alright. Let's keep on going. I know East Park was over like towards the scrap yards, but I may be off. It may be, actually there it is right there. Let's go check out East Park first. I'm going to show you guys that. I took my son there a couple of times. It is nothing great, but really there's not a lot of other options there, so it is what it is, right? So if I just look down like that, you'll see it. There's go-kart track and some water slides, and there's like batting cages, mini putt. And then what do we got over here? The scrap yards. Right here, which were pretty cool. So this one you could walk around and Used to love just strolling around, checking out all the cars and shit. Like these are all scrap yards out here. There's like tons of them. This one here, my buddy stole a axle out of a truck that was in the parking lot one time. That was kind of funny. Alright, let's keep on going to the airport. So, yeah, I don't know. My buddy Felix lives somewhere out here. I just don't know exactly where. So, yeah, like I have his address.